Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
One of the elements that collectively form a system of numeration. Judge to be probable. Be or play a part of or in. Elections figure prominently in every government program. A diagram or picture illustrating textual material. A decorative or artistic work. The property possessed by a sum or total or indefinite quantity of units or individuals. The figure was about 1,000. A well-known or notable person. She is an important figure in modern music. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Imagine, conceive of, see in one's mind. Language used in a figurative or non-literal sense. Make a mathematical calculation or computation. A combination of points and lines and planes that form a visible palpable shape. A model of a bodily form, especially of a person. He made a figure of Santa Claus. An amount of money expressed numerically. A figure of $17 was suggested. A predetermined set of movements in dancing or skating. She made the best score on compulsory figures. A unitary percept having structure and coherence that is the object of attention and that stands out against a ground. The impression produced by a person. He cut a fine figure. Understand. He didn't figure her. One of the elements that collectively form a system of numeration. 0 and 1 are digits. The length of breadth of a finger used as a linear measure. A finger or toe in human beings or corresponding body part in other vertebrates. Predict in advance. Have faith or confidence in. Specifically design a product, event, or activity for a certain public. Judge to be probable. Keep an account of. Make a mathematical calculation or computation. Judge to be probable. Judge to be probable. An approximate calculation of quantity or degree or worth. An estimate of what it would cost. Judge tentatively or form an estimate of quantities or time. I estimate this chicken to weigh 3 pounds. A judgment of the qualities of something or somebody. Many factors are involved in any estimate of human life. The respect with which a person is held. A document appraising the value of something, as for insurance or taxation. A statement indicating the likely cost of some job. He got an estimate from the car repair shop. Predict in advance. Judge to be probable. A prediction about how something, as the weather, will develop. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen. Have faith or confidence in. Judge to be probable. Take account of. You have to reckon with our opponents. Expect, believe, or suppose. Deem to be. Make a mathematical calculation or computation. To come or go into. The boat entered an area of shallow marshes. Be or play a part of or in. Register formally as a participant or member. set out on, an enterprise or subject of study. Take on duties or office. Put or introduce into something. Become a participant, be involved in. Enter a race. Make a record of, set down in permanent form. Come on stage. A diagram or picture illustrating textual material. A Libyan terrorist group organized in 1995 and aligned with Al-Qaeda seeks to radicalize the Libyan government, attempted to assassinate Gaddafi. Mediterranean tree widely cultivated for its edible fruit. Fleshy sweet pear-shaped yellowish or purple multiple fruit eaten fresh or preserved or dried. Something intended as a guide for making something else. A decorative or artistic work. The coach had a design on the doors. An arrangement scheme. The awkward design of the keyboard made operation difficult. An anticipated outcome that is intended or that guides your planned actions. He made no secret of his designs. The creation of something in the mind. Make or work out a plan for, devise. Design a new sales strategy. The act of working out the form of something, as by making a sketch or outline or plan. He contributed to the design of a new instrument. Make a design of. Plan out in systematic, often graphic form. Design a better mousetrap. A preliminary sketch indicating the plan for something. The design of a building. Conceive or fashion in the mind, invent. She designed a good excuse for not attending classes that day. Create designs. DuPont designs for the House of Chanel. Create the design for. Create or execute in an artistic or highly skilled manner. Chanel designed the famous suit. Intend or have as a purpose. She designed to go far in the world of business. Plan something for a specific role or purpose or effect. This room is not designed for work. A customary way of operation or behavior. They changed their dietary pattern. A perceptual structure. A visual pattern must include not only objects but the spaces between them. Something intended as a guide for making something else. A pattern for a skirt. A decorative or artistic work. The path that is prescribed for an airplane that is preparing to land at an airport. The traffic patterns around O'Hare are very crowded. Something regarded as a normative example. Graphical representation, in polar or Cartesian coordinates, of the spatial distribution of radiation from an antenna as a function of angle. Plan or create according to a model or models. A model considered worthy of imitation. The American Constitution has provided a pattern for many republics. Form a pattern. These sentences pattern like the ones we studied before. Put into a group. Determine the number or amount of. One of a series published periodically. The property possessed by a sum or total or indefinite quantity of units or individuals. The number of parameters is small. The number is used in calling a particular telephone. He has an unlisted number. Add up in number or quantity. A short performance that is part of a longer program. It was one of the best numbers he ever did. A symbol used to represent a number. Place a limit on the number of. Enumerate. We must number the names of the great mathematicians. A clothing measurement. A number 13 shoe. A concept of quantity involving zero and units. Every number has a unique position in the sequence. An item of clothing. She preferred the black nylon number. A numbered item in a series. Take the number 2 to the main square, then change to the number 5. A numeral or string of numerals that is used for identification and may be attached to accounts, memberships, etc. She refused to give them her social security number. A select company of people. I hope to become one of their number before I die. Give numbers to. You should number the pages of the thesis. The grammatical category for the forms of nouns and pronouns and verbs that are used depending on the number of entities involved, singular or dual or plural. In English, the subject and the verb must agree in number. Assign a specified, usually proper name to. They named their son David. Give or make a list of. Name individually. Give the names of. Give the name or identifying characteristics of. Refer to by name or some other identifying characteristic property. Many senators were named in connection with the scandal. Family based on male descent. He had no sons and there was no one to carry on his name. Determine or distinguish the nature of a problem or an illness through a diagnostic analysis. Charge with a function. Charge to be. She was named head of the committee. Identify as in botany or biology, for example. A defamatory or abusive word or phrase. A well-known or notable person. They studied all the great names in the history of France. Make reference to. His name was mentioned in connection with the invention. Create and charge with a task or function. A language unit by which a person or thing is known. His name really is George Washington. A person's reputation. He wanted to protect his good name. By the sanction or authority of. Halt in the name of the law. Mention and identify by name. Name your accomplices. A well-known or notable person. The branch of morphology that deals with the structure of animals. Alternative names for the body of a human being. A detailed analysis. He studied the anatomy of crimes. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Leonardo studied the human body. Make by combining materials and parts. Build or establish something abstract. Build a reputation. Constitution of the human body. Bolster or strengthen. Build up confidence. Form or accumulate steadily. Pressure is building up at the Indian-Pakistani border. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Be engaged in building. These architects build in interesting and new styles. Develop and grow. Suspense was building right from the beginning of the opera. Found or ground. Build a defense on nothing but the accused person's reputation. Give form to, according to a plan. Build a modern nation. Improve the cleansing action of. Build detergents. Order, supervise, or finance the construction of. The government is building new schools in this state. Alternative names for the body of a human being. A metal mounting for the circuit components of an electronic device. The skeleton of a motor vehicle consisting of a steel frame supported on springs that holds the body and motor. Alternative names for the body of a human being. The spirit is willing but the flesh is weak. A soft moist part of a fruit. Remove adhering flesh from hides when preparing leather manufacture. The soft tissue of the body of a vertebrate, mainly muscle tissue and fat. The visual appearance of something or someone. A perceptual structure. The composition presents problems for students of musical form. The phonological or orthographic sound or appearance of a word that can be used to describe or identify something. The inflected forms of a word can be represented by a stem in a list of inflections to be attached. Make something, usually for a specific function. Any spatial attributes, especially as defined by outline. Establish or impress firmly in the mind. A body of students who are taught together. Create, as an entity. Social groups form everywhere. Biology. A group of organisms within a species that differ in trivial ways from similar groups. A category of things distinguished by some common characteristic or quality. Sculpture is a form of art. A life-size dummy used to display clothes. Develop into a distinctive entity. Alternative names for the body of a human being. The spatial arrangement of something is distinct from its substance. To compose or represent. This wall forms the background of the stage setting. Give shape or form to. Form the young child's character. Physical chemistry. A distinct state of matter in a system. Matter that is identical in chemical composition and physical state and separated from other material by the phase boundary. A mold for setting concrete. They built elaborate forms for pouring the foundation. An ability to perform well. He was at the top of his form. An arrangement of the elements in a composition or discourse. The essay was in the form of a dialogue. A particular mode in which something is manifested. His resentment took the form of extreme hostility. A printed document with spaces in which to write. He filled out his tax form. Assume a form or shape. The water formed little beads. A system of assumptions and standards that sanction behavior and give it meaning. Formulate in a particular style or language. Make up plans or basic details for. Frame a policy. Construct by fitting or uniting parts together. Baseball. One of 9 divisions of play during which each team has a turn at bat. The hard structure, bones and cartilages, that provides a frame for the body of an animal. Take or catch as if in a snare or trap. The innocent man was framed by the police. Enclose in or as if in a frame. Frame a picture. A framework that supports and protects a picture or a mirror. The frame enhances but is not itself the subject of attention. The internal supporting structure that gives an artifact its shape. Alternative names for the body of a human being. A structure supporting or containing something. An application that divides the user's display into two or more windows that can be scrolled independently. A single drawing in a comic strip. A single one of a series of still transparent pictures forming a cinema, television or video film. Enclose in a frame, as of a picture. One of the 10 divisions into which bowling is divided. The framework for a pair of eyeglasses. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Leonardo studied the human body. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Constitution of the human body. Alternative names for the body of a human being. He has a strong physique. The visual appearance of something or someone. A perceptual structure. Make something, usually for a specific function. Shape a figure. A concrete representation of an otherwise nebulous concept. Any spatial attributes, especially as defined by outline. He could barely make out their shapes. The state of good health, especially in the phrases in condition, or in shape, or out of condition, or out of shape. Shape or influence. Give direction to. Alternative names for the body of a human being. The spatial arrangement of something is distinct from its substance. Geometry is the mathematical science of shape. The supreme headquarters that advises NATO on military matters and oversees all aspects of the Allied Command Europe. Give shape or form to. Shape the dough. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Leafless East Indian vine. Its sour milky juice formerly used to make an intoxicating drink. Personification of a sacred intoxicating drink used in Vedic ritual. Picture to oneself. Imagine possible. I cannot envision him as president. Imagine. Conceive of. See in one's mind. Have a fancy or particular liking or desire for. Something many people believe that is false. A predisposition to like something. She had dismissed him quite brutally, relegating him to the status of a passing fancy, or less. Imagine. Conceive of. See in one's mind. Imagination or fantasy. Held by Coleridge to be more casual and superficial than true imagination. Never had the wildest flights of fancy imagined such magnificence. Not plain, decorative or ornamented. Fancy handwriting. An iconic mental representation. Her imagination forced images upon her too awful to contemplate. A visual representation, of an object or scene or person or abstraction, produced on a surface. A movie is a series of images projected so rapidly that the eye integrates them. A representation of a person, especially in the form of sculpture. The emperor's tomb had his image carved in stone. Jungian psychology, a personal facade that one presents to the world. A public image is as fragile as Humpty Dumpty. A standard or typical example. He provided America with an image of the good father. Imagine, conceive of, see in one's mind. Language used in a figurative or non-literal sense. Mathematics, the set of values of the dependent variable for which a function is defined. The image of f, x, equals x squared is the set of all non-negative real numbers if the domain of the function is the set of all real numbers. Someone who closely resembles a famous person, especially an actor. She's the very image of her mother. Render visible, as by means of MRI. The general impression that something, a person or organization or product, presents to the public. Although her popular image was contrived, it served to inspire music and pageantry. Graphic art consisting of an artistic composition made by applying paints to a surface. His pictures hang in the Louvre. A visual representation, of an object or scene or person or abstraction, produced on a surface. They showed us the pictures of their wedding. A situation treated as an observable object. The political picture is favorable. Show in, or as in, a picture. Illustrations used to decorate or explain a text. The dictionary had many pictures. A form of entertainment that enacts a story by sound and a sequence of images giving the illusion of continuous movement. A graphic or vivid verbal description. Too often the narrative was interrupted by long word pictures. A clear and telling mental image. He described his mental picture of his assailant. Imagine, conceive of, see in one's mind. The visible part of a television transmission. They could still receive the sound, but the picture was gone. A representation of a person or scene in the form of a print or transparent slide or in digital format. A typical example of some state or quality. The very picture of a modern general.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.